The city of Chicago is currently experiencing a wave of violent crime unlike anything they've seen before. People are calling it Chiraq and equating it to a war zone. So what's going on over there, and why is violent crime escalating so quickly? Well, there are two main narratives being used to describe the situation. The first one has to do with the economic and resource issues that Chicago is currently facing, and the second one focuses on changes within the criminals themselves. Now, the first argument is fairly straightforward. The city has a huge problem of segregation along poverty lines. The poor people in Chicago are isolated in the neighborhoods with the fewest resources and almost no opportunities for advancement. It's a situation that's known to develop and foster a disenfranchised criminal class. But the city also has a population problem. Almost 200,000 people have left Chicago since 2000, and the effects have been devastating. Businesses are closing, the city is collecting less in taxes, its infrastructure is crumbling, and the middle class is leaving town quickly. On top of that, the city just doesn't have enough cops. Chicago is almost 1,000 officers short of authorized strength. And due to budget issues, they're unable to replace cops faster than the rate at which they're retiring. So the problem is getting worse. But that's the narrative in pretty much any city that has a problem with violent crime. What makes Chicago different is our second narrative, the one about the criminals themselves. Up until 1997, street crime in Chicago was mostly run by a handful of gangs. Most of it was centered around public housing projects like Cabrini Green. The largest gang in Chicago was called the Gangster Disciples, and it was run by a man named Larry Hoover. Sounds wrong to say, but the power of this one violent gang actually helped keep gang violence under control. Then, in 1997, Hoover and the rest of the Gangster Disciples' leadership were put in jail. In that same year, the city started demolishing those housing projects. As a result, gangs had no unified leadership and no central location for their activities. Infighting and territory disputes started almost immediately, and every year since then, things have gotten worse. The Gangster Disciples have split off into numerous factions. As of the last official estimate, there are now over 600 different gang factions in Chicago. They're all fighting against each other, and they're doing it all over the city. It's a tough situation, and unfortunately, there doesn't appear to be an end in sight. If you have anything you'd like us to cover, please let us know in the comments. And if you'd like to know more interesting stuff, like where our real-life spies come from, click here now.
Spies are clandestine. In fact, they come from the National Clandestine Service, a mysterious subsection of the CIA shielded from us by an impenetrable shroud of secrecy.
And remember, we release new episodes 5 days a week, so click subscribe and you can get them all right there on your YouTube feed. Thanks for watching.